Okay, this is the critique video for COMM 10181N. We're going to bring you up to date on some things, talk to you about the scores, what you can do right or wrong on your speeches, and go from there. Overall, this was not bad. It's a nice effort on the part of the people in the class to get everything ready to go and have all of the stuff up and prepared, and overall, nice job. I'm calling up the part that I really need to talk about first, and that is that some of you, most of you, have sent in your fantasy names. 2 of you have not sent in a photo ID. 1 of you has not sent in a fantasy name. Now, the photo ID, Sunshine, I need your photo ID, and Blue, you're not going to know who you are because I assigned the fantasy name to you, and I don't have a photo ID from you either, but you don't know who I'm talking to right now. So if you haven't sent me a photo ID and a fantasy name, you must do so immediately. I will not accept any more speeches from anyone that is delinquent in doing that. Now let's talk about some things that may help you a little bit in this class. Discussion boards. There are 160 points on the discussion board, and some of you are leaving points on the table, and that's just such a no-no. You don't ever want to leave points on the table because the total for the discussion boards will be roughly, with 160 points, you've got the equivalent of almost a grade and a half. And you must do the discussion boards every week, and you must do everything that's there. Now, generally the discussion board has 2 parts. The first one is a question. You must follow every aspect of that question and answer it completely. The next part in almost every discussion board is you must post on someone else's, about someone else's response. Now, I've been pretty liberal so far, and people are getting most of the points that they need to get. I'm going to tell you right now, I am not going to give credit for someone who posts a response to someone else that says, I agree, nice job. Yeah, that's not a response. Maybe you think it is, but that's not college level thinking. So make sure your response speaks to the issue, and that you are being someone who follows the spirit of the assignment. Next up, peer group. You'll see that in the Connect, you're assigned a peer group. Well, they tweaked the course over the summer, and there's still some things that aren't quite the way they're supposed to be. The peer group, if you have someone in your peer group and they don't post a speech, you don't have anything to look at. It's not graded. So here's what I want you to understand. Look at the other person's speech that you can look at. Kind of be me and critique it, because it's easier to spot someone else's flaws than it is to spot your own. And then doing that kind of critique will help you become a better speaker in the process. So if there's nothing there to critique, don't worry about it. If there is something there, make it an exercise to do something, learn a little bit more about things, and do it. There's no grade involved, no points involved. Even if you see points, there were no points involved on your grade. 160 points discussion board, 740 points on the speeches, and 100 points on the exams. That adds up to 1,000 points. Those are the only points you got in this class. The Learn Smarts. There's an indication there that there are points involved. You don't get those points. That's kind of for your benefit. I strongly suggest you do all of the Learn Smarts. It's going to help you be a better student, help you learn more about the process and speech, etc. But no points on that, but you need to do those each time. Outlines. For the most part, every speech requires 2, count them, 1, 2 outlines. A speaker outline, speech outline, speaking outline, however you want to refer to it, and a preparation outline. There's ample examples of that in the textbook and online, and you can see that stuff and then follow that example and do it that way. Later on, you're going to have some things that talk about sources. And sources are something you must pay very close attention to. You must cite your sources in your speech as you give the facts. So here's the example I always give. 10 people are killed each week in traffic accidents in Indiana. You can't say that and go on to the next thing, because I'm going to be yelling, says who? How do you know that? Where do you get that information? How do you know it's 10? Why isn't it 15 or 9? All right. So there's possible 3 sources, we'll say, for that one. You'll have them in your bibliography, but your audience never sees your bibliography. When you're giving a speech, you must cite your sources with your facts. So you could say, according to the National Safety Council, according to AAA, all right, and then say 10 people are killed each week in traffic accidents. Or you can say 10 people are killed each week in traffic accidents in Indiana, according to the Indiana State Police. You put it before or after, but it's got to be married to the fact that you're giving. All right, the other thing that's coming up is visuals. You're going to be tempted to do a visual and do this. Or you're going to be tempted to move the camera over to show the visual. Do not do that. And do not put the visual in front of your face, because it just blocks everything. So here's what you do. If you have visuals, this is the only shot I want to see. Lest there be any doubt, listen carefully. This is the only shot I want to see. An inch or 2 above the head, bust line, right here. That's it. Don't zoom in or out. Don't pan left or right. This is the only shot. All right? If you have a visual of some kind, you can make a reference to it. You can kind of have it in the edge of the picture and send me a copy. I will make reference to it from the copy you send to me. If you use a PowerPoint, don't pan the camera over to see the screen. You send me a copy of the PowerPoint, and I will look at that and judge the speech that way. All right? Again, this shot, this composition, this close, headroom, bust line, only shot I want to see. Now, I had a student in another class that says, I'm 7 feet tall and my audience is all 4 feet tall. How can I not move the camera and show the audience? Okay, easy. Lower the camera. The audience walks by, say their name, over 21, 1, 2, 3, and leave. Next person comes in, says their name, gives their age. If they don't want to give their age, they got to be over 16. Say their age, say they're over 21, and move. After they do, their name, their age, 1, 2, 3, leave. They don't have to do the 1, 2, 3, but you kind of get the idea of what I'm talking about. Do that for everybody. Then when the audience is all done, then you come in the picture, have your cameraman adjust up for your giant size, and at that point, they should be shooting straight in. I don't mind shooting down for the audience as long as they look at the camera and I can see their face. But for you, I want a straight in shot. All right? Cameraman's adjusting the shot. The audience is having their seat. There's still a little noise in the room. You look down and you see where you're going to start, what you're going to say, and the cameraman is ready. You got it all set. You look up, pause for a second or two, and start your speech. That's it. It's the only kind of movement we want to see. And once it starts, that camera doesn't move up, down, left, right, in, out. Okay? Now, one other quick thing. For the most part, it's pretty true. The microphone's on the camera. You must understand that and keep the camera as close to you as possible. If you have the camera way back there and you zoom to this shot, the microphone is still way back there. All right? Watch the room noise too. All right, here we go. I'm just going to give you some things from your practice video. I'm not going to name any names here because these are indications of things that are good or bad, and you'll see them as we do the fantasy names in the videos. All right, first person, wrong shot. You need more light on your face. I need to be able to see your face. Good appearance. All right, wrong shot. You're shooting up. Do not shoot up. I want you to shoot straight in. Fix that. Your audio is distorted. Never, but never, but never sit while doing a speech unless there is an ADA reason, and I need a copy of the doctor's statement in order to know that there is, in fact, an ADA reason. Never sit when doing a speech. You always stand. I'm not doing a speech right now. I'm doing a critique. That is why I am sitting. You do not. Don't do it. All right. Distracting backgrounds. Stuff on the wall behind you. Look at behind me. You're probably saying, what in the world is that back there? There are two hangers over my head, and they bother me even when I see it. Okay. Fix the headroom. Not too much headroom. Not too little headroom. Another one, shooting up. Another one, tisk. Some people, when they talk, make kind of a sound with their voice, and that can be very, very annoying when you hear it, and nobody does it that often, but they're talking and somehow that sound comes out. I'm going to be very sexist here. More often than not, women do it. However, men do it too, and either way, it's very distracting and annoying. Don't do it. Cure yourself of that one. All right, frame up, fix the composition, watch the tisk, and a bit more light on the face. So those are the general comments from the practice videos. Now, the critiques for your self-introduction. This one is Marine. Good appearance, nice style, way too long on the audience intros. The camera is not level. That means that it's, instead of being, kind of horizontal level, it's more like going almost vertical. Not that bad, but that's what we're talking about. Camera's not level. You need more light on your face. The audio is very low, even when I have it at full volume on my end. Watch the emphasis on ending words of a sentence. You have a tendency to get to the end of the sentence and say, this is the end of the sentence. Now, most people would say it like that. You have a tendency to say, this is the end of the sentence. Don't go up on the end, and make sure that it is consistent with the rest of the tone and such. I over-exaggerate, but you get the idea. Watch your story flow. Not too many facts in depth. Leave some things out. Kind of edit yourself. And no speech notes of any kind. Those are outlines, what we're talking about. Next is yellow. Yellow, let me see here if we now have a name for you. I may not have had the name when I did this, and let's see. Yellow, you're actually garnet. That's what it is. So we got you covered here. Look at the camera. Use your preparation outline that you have. Use it so that it makes sense, and you're speaking with some support. Use the preparation outline, do bullet points to help you get from one point to another. It really makes a lot of sense when you do that. Slow down a bit. You talk to me, not at me. And you had a really abrupt ending, which can be very, very upsetting to the audience. Next up is, and again, we'll find out the fantasy name here, Cheddar. Cheddar, you have a very good appearance, good facial expression. Stand still. Don't be moving around when you're doing stuff. Don't drop your voice at the end of a sentence so that you get to the end of a sentence. And then we're going along and talking about what we're going to do tomorrow. And then we get already done tomorrow, and then we're going to do that. Okay, don't drop your voice at the end of the sentence. Finish everything strong. Good speech, well presented. There was more right than wrong with this speech. Watch the ahs and the ums and the tisk. Next up is Bella. Bella, good appearance. Wrong camera shot. Distorted audio. You're shooting up into a bright light over your left shoulder. That's causing iris problems with your camera. Don't do that. It's hard to see your face and eyes because the light is diminished because of the bright light messing with the iris. Try to get light coming at you. Slow down. You're too fast. There's no phrasing, just a bunch of words. There are 5 things you can control when doing a speech: pitch, pace, tone, volume, and silence. Utilize that. Watch the tisk, and you too had a very, very abrupt ending. And then the next person is going to be Blue. Blue, you don't know who you are because you haven't given me a fantasy name. You have the wrong shot, low audio, bright light over your head, which is causing iris problems with your camera. You're reading your speech. Work at not sure what you work at something that sounds like PetSev. I'm not sure what that is. I couldn't understand it. Your prep outline was inadequate and hard to handle while you were speaking, and you had no audience intro and no outline. So whatever you had in your hand, I didn't have. Okay, that's it. We'll talk to you next time, and if you have any questions, call me in the office.